Okay, we're looking at 아직. 아직 is a little adverb. It's an adverb that you can add to sentences to mean yet or still. And 아직 goes before the verbs to mean you yet or still have done or have not done some action. And the similar word is also 여전히. I'm going to compare them at the end so you can compare and contrast 아직 versus 여전히. And the other thing about 아직 is that it's frequently seen in sentences using 고 있다. In the previous live stream, we were looking at how to use 고 있다 to talk about the present progressive tense, which means actions that are currently in progress. So if you're talking about sentences that are currently in progress, sometimes it's common to use 아직 when you want to say that you haven't yet done something or haven't yet finished something. So let's look at some examples of how you use 아직 in a sentence. First of all, very quickly, you can see how it just goes before the verb. So if you have the verb 공부하다, which means to study, you can just say 아직 공부하다, and then remember to conjugate the final verb, this 다, into whatever form that you want. So 아직 공부하고 있어요. I'm still studying. For example, 아직 공부해요. I'm still studying. For example, like that. 아직 먹어요. I'm still eating. 아직 어렵다. 어렵다 is a verb, irregular verb. We also covered those verbs in a previous live stream. But that conjugates into the present tense and becomes 어려워요. So 아직 어려워요 means it's still difficult. And 아직 그립다. 그립다 is a little verb to mean to miss something, and it's also a verb, irregular verb. So when it conjugates to the present tense, it becomes 그리워요. So 아직 그리워요 means I still miss it, whatever it is. Okay, so let's look at some full sentences. For example, 한국어를 아직 공부하고 있어요. This means 한국어 is Korean, and we're using the 를 object. 공부하고 있어요. 공부하다 is an action verb, so we use the object particle to connect 공부하다 to the noun study Korean. So I am still 아직 still studying present tense, present progressive tense Korean. 한국어를 아직 공부하고 있어요. I am still studying Korean. This is the book, Conversational Korean Grammar. So, this means I'm still studying Korean. 숙제를 아직 하고 있어요. I'm still doing my homework. 숙제 is homework. 숙제를 아직 공부하고 있어요. I'm still doing my homework. Another example. 피자를 아직 먹고 있어요. Thank you. Anyone have a guess at what this means if you're going to translate it into English? So we have 피자 and we have 아직 먹고 있어요. 피자를, yeah, 피자 is pizza. Beautiful, perfect. Pizza is pizza. So what are we still doing with pizza? 피자를 아직 먹고 있어요. I ate pizza. It's close, very close. This is still the present tense. It's the present progressive tense. So it means you're doing something. Yeah. So Arya Gigs got it pretty close. 피자를 아직 먹고 있어요 means 히토나. Beautiful. I'm still eating pizza. I'm still eating pizza. I haven't finished eating pizza. Yeah, I've seen some more people have it as well. Beautiful. I'm still eating pizza, or I'm still eating the pizza. This particle you don't need, but that's the idea. I'm still eating the pizza. I'm still eating pizza. How about this next sentence? 한국어가 아직 어려워요. 한국어 is a word that we have used in the previous sentence up here. So you should be able to figure out what 한국어 means. 한국어. And we have the 가 subject particle because 어렵다 is a descriptive verb. When you are describing nouns, you always use the 이가 subject particle. or I suppose the non-topic particle. I is for Laura. Beautiful, thank you. This sentence means Korean is still hard. Yeah, bunny bun, perfect. Korean is still difficult. You can use hard or difficult. They're both fine translations for the sentence. Korean is still hard or Korean is still difficult. It's true. I've been studying Korean for over 5 years and Korean is still difficult sometimes. I'm still learning Hangul. Yeah, we can write that. I'm still learning Hangul would be 저는 Hangul. Hangul is the Korean alphabet. Hangul을 아직 배우고 있어요. I am not Korean. But thank you. So 저는 한글을 아직 배우다 is the verb to learn. So when you say 배우고 있어요, it means I am learning. And 아직 means I haven't finished yet. I'm still doing it. So 저는 한글을 아직 배우고 있어요. I'm still learning the alphabet, the Korean alphabet. What do you recommend for beginners? I really recommend that you try lots of things, try different things, and see what you like. There's so many different ways to learn. Everyone has different preferences and things they like. And when you're a beginner, I think it's all about figuring out what works for you and what you enjoy. Whether that's apps or books or watching movies, whatever you like. Okay. Now let's do one more. Let's do this last one here. Let's do this sentence as well. So 숙제를 아직 안 했어요. So now we have 안. We learned 안 in a previous lesson. Yeah, and Talk to Me in Korean is a great resource. If you are just starting Korean, definitely check out Talk to Me in Korean. They're a great place to go. So 안 means not. So when you want to negate a verb and say that you haven't done something or you're not doing something, you can use 안. So 안 했어요. Also, we have the past tense. So 숙제를 안 하면 혼나요? Yeah, so you're saying that if you don't do your homework, you get angry. Okay, so if you say 안 했어요, it means that you haven't done something. So, and 숙제 is homework. 숙제를 아직 안 했어요 means I haven't done my homework yet. So, here we have it being translated to yet. Yet, it hasn't been done. 안 했어요 means it hasn't been done. And 숙제를 하다 is to do homework. So, 아직 안 했어요, it means I haven't done it yet. 숙제를 안 했어요. I haven't done my homework yet. This book is Conversational Korean Grammar. Okay. Also, a quick note, you can use 아직 before nouns as well. So here we're looking at using it before verbs, but you can use it before nouns. So for example, 아직 학생이다, to still be a student. 아직 학생이에요. I'm still a student. 아직 백수예요 means I'm still unemployed. And 아직 미성년자예요 is to still be underage, so under 18. 아직 미성년자예요. Full sentence, 저는 아직 학생이에요. I'm still a student. This 이에요 part on the end is the Korean copula. It's the way you say something is something else. So this is saying I am a student. 학생이에요. And 아직 학생이에요 means I'm still a student. I haven't graduated yet, so I'm still a student. And a couple more examples. 저는 아직 백수예요. Remember that if the noun ends on a vowel, you attach 예요. And if the noun ends on a consonant, you attach 예요. So 학생 ends on a consonant, so it becomes 학생이에요. But 백수, unemployed person, ends on a vowel, so it becomes 백수예요. 저는 아직 백수예요. I'm still unemployed. And the last example, 아직 미성년자라서 술을 못 마셔요. The sentence is a little bit more involved. We have a couple things going on here. This is using the 이어서 verb conjugation that we haven't learned yet. But basically it's saying because I'm still underage, I can't drink. 술을 못 마셔요. I can't drink. Because I'm still underage. I'm glad too. Hooray. Awesome. Okay. Now there's another term you should know, and that's 아직도. 아직도. This is just 아직 plus adding the 도 particle. The 도 particle means also or as well, but it's actually used pretty often in some other grammar forms to add emphasis and make the feeling a bit stronger. So when you say 아직도, it has a slightly stronger feeling that you really still haven't yet done something. So whatever the situation may be, if you use 아직도, it just means that the situation is slightly stronger. Thank you. So for example, it's a little difficult to translate. In our examples, we have capitalized the word still just to add that extra emphasis. You probably wouldn't write this if you were writing a translation officially, but just to get that meaning across, that the feeling is stronger. 저는 아직도 백수예요. I'm still unemployed. I'm still unemployed. It has a bit of a stronger feeling. Maybe you feel a bit disappointed that you're still unemployed, that you still haven't found a job. 저는 아직도 백수예요. I'm still unemployed. 저는 아직도 숙제를 하고 있어요. I'm still doing my homework. This homework is so long, I'm still going. It hasn't finished yet. You're saying 아직도 to make the feeling stronger. Okay. And that's just the 도 particle that we have learned in a previous lesson. And 도 by itself means also or as well, but you can see it often comes up with other grammar forms. Yeah, 아직도 is just the exaggerated version of 아직. Yeah. Korean is a very, I don't know if I want to say emotional language, but there's a lot of things you can do with grammar in Korean that convey emotion. And 아직도 is kind of one of those things. It's a little thing you can do, you can add to convey a little bit more emphasis, a little bit more emotion or feeling to your sentences. Okay, so then I mentioned at the start, there's another word that's kind of similar to 아직, and that's 여전히. And 여전히 and 아직 both kind of mean yet or still, but there is a little bit of a difference. So, for example, 아직 means that something is still in progress and is yet to be completed. When you use 아직 or 아직도, it gives the feeling of despite other things or even though X. Even though if you haven't said anything like that in the sentence, you haven't said even though or despite, it has a feeling that there's something else going on that's kind of preventing you from doing something or that's holding you back from finishing it or something in the way. Whereas 여전히 means that something is in the same state as it was before. This book is Conversational Korean Grammar. So, for example, let's look at some comparisons to understand the difference between 아직 and 여전히. So we have two sentences here. We have 그 여자는 아직도 예뻐요. So this is using 아직도. So this woman is still pretty versus 그 여자는 여전히 예뻐요. So how are these different? Well, the first one means that girl is still pretty even though some other things. So even though she's old, for example, even though she's really old, 그 여자는 아직도 예뻐요. She's still pretty in spite of some other things. For example, the fact that she's old. Whereas this one, if you say 그 여자는 여전히 예뻐요, It means that girl is still pretty, like she has always been, or like she was before. So you'll probably see 여전히 used more in things like songs and poems, things like that. This book is Conversational Korean Grammar. Let's look at one more example of the difference between 아직 and 여전히. For example, 저는 아직도 한국어를 배워요 means I'm still learning Korean. Just like 저는 여전히 한국어를 배워요 also means I'm still learning Korean. But if you say 저는 아직도 한국어를 배워요, it implies that there's some other factors. So for example, I'm still learning Korean even though I live in the US now, for example. Even though I don't live in Korea, I'm still practicing my Korean. Whereas 그 여전히 한국어를 배워요 just means I'm still learning Korean just like I was, as always. Just as before, just like I was before, I'm still studying Korean. So there's a little bit of a nuanced difference between these two words, and generally 아직 is used more often conversationally. 여전히 is a little bit more sort of formal, a little bit more poetic. It's got that kind of flowery feeling that you see in poems and songs and things like that. So they're both frequently used, and it's good to know both of them, but you'll probably use 아직 most of the time.